verses is Revelation, the book of Revelation. We're going to start with chapter 6, the first seals, and we're going to show how this first seal, the second seal of war, the third one of famine, and the fourth one of death is Revelation 13, beast coming on the earth as an empire. And the location where this beast is going to be, we can find right here in Revelation 11, verses 8, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where the Lord was crucified. So that's Jerusalem. And that is the place where the two witnesses prophesy against the beast in Revelation 13's two beasts. So it's a little confusing. But the first 6 seals is the onset of this future Antichrist kingdom. And it happens through conquering, and the white horse, which would be the Antichrist, as a lot of people say, because in the 19th chapter, it shows Jesus coming with many crowns on his head instead of just one crown that was given to him. And so we have this beast from the sea and beast of the earth that come to Jerusalem to reign from the temple around the first 4 seals. Now, in Revelation 13, we have a description of that beast, which has 7 heads and 10 crowns and all that. And the beast was like a leopard, like Alexander the Great's kingdom, if we go back to Daniel. The feet like a bear, like Media and Persia, a bear leaning on its side with 3 ribs in its mouth. It's favoring one of the empires, I think the Media Empire, and has the 3 previous world empires in its mouth, all the culture of Babylon, Assyria, and Egypt. And so this beast comes, and it comes on the scene like Alexander the Great's empire, the Macedon Empire, quickly like a leopard. He's got feet like those of the bear. And one thing about the bear that stands out is the law. Darius couldn't get Daniel out of jail. He had to obey the law. And he had a mouth like a lion, like Nebuchadnezzar. And the lion symbolizes Babylon. And the dragon gives them the power and authority. And the dragon is symbolic of the empires that ruled basically over Israel and the faith. And so we have a lot of, ancient Babylon codes right here, like the culture from Babylon, the beliefs of Babylon, the fatally wounded and the fatal wound healed, comes from the Marduk religion. The Greek version has like Penelope going to Hades for the winter time and then coming back out at summertime. So there's a bunch of papers that I've written that I've used off the internet that talks about how this is symbolic of the mystery Babylon religion. And let's see. So this is a new empire that's going on in the world. The 7 heads are, the 7 heads are the previous empires that we find in Daniel. But before I get ahead of myself, let's just stick with the narrative that these 4 seals is the onset of that kingdom. And then once you get to the 5th seal, you have the persecution of the saints. And the persecution of the saints, again, is in Revelation 13. All who live on earth will worship him, everyone whose name has not been written. If any, I don't know, it says they'll kill him. All right, here we go. So this is the beast from the earth. This is this works with the beast from the sea, because it's the religious aspect of this empire that comes, much like Babylon had priests to take care of those inside the conquered domain. This is a religion that comes up called the false prophet, and it has two horns like a lamb and speaks like a dragon, because the Antichrist is saying that he's God on earth, and the lamb it speaks like it has two horns like a lamb, like it's good, but it speaks like a dragon, meaning that, you know what I mean? It's with it's persecuting all those religions and looking like they themselves are religious. So, you know, as far as the identity of this one, this is the this is the group that takes care of all the conquered places where the beast has been. I think that is the Catholic and Orthodox Church, because apostatized, because it's saying that this Antichrist is Jesus or a reincarnated Jesus, but then they're speaking blasphemies, which is basically, you know, they're saying that Jesus is reincarnated and it's okay, you know, worship this guy. So that's considered like blasphemy. And they do great signs so that they can make fire come down out of the earth in the presence of the people. You know, that can happen in many ways. But, you know, they make an image of the beast, which is probably AI. And then they force everybody in conquered lands to take a mark. So this is all the persecution that's going on right around the seals. And now when you get to the martyrs, these are the people that are killed under that system, with the beast from the sea conquering all the jurisdictions around the world, and then the beast from the earth taking the conquered populations and forcing them to comply or not to. And so these are all the martyrs that are killed underneath it. And at that point, we have the two witnesses that come on the scene that don't worship the beast, that act a lot like Moses and Aaron did when they were prophesying against Pharaoh with their plagues. And so here's one that's an indicator, because this is going to go into the trumpets now, and then probably the sixth seal as well. They have the power to do a lot of stuff, and specifically waters turn to blood, and any plague they want, really. And so, you know, that could be any plague, like even the sixth seal, you know, of darkness. But here's one that kind of makes you think, or me think, that the trumpets are their testimony. So if we go down to the second trumpet, you'll see that the sea turns into blood. And if you go back up to Revelation 11, at least on this monitor, it says that they have power to turn waters into blood, and every other plague. So it makes sense that these two witnesses, whoever they are, they stand up against the beast, and winds up, so the plagues are poured out on the beast. The sixth seal, because here you have now, you know, the kings of the earth and all the wealthy and strong people that would be under the beast, they're on the run. You know, it seems like something has changed after the martyrs to where that they're on the run. And that probably is because of the two witnesses. And then right after the sixth seal, you get into the trumpets. And we see the two witnesses can turn water into blood and do any plague they want. A lot of symbolism with Moses and Aaron and Pharaoh in the Exodus. And so we go to the trumpets. And let's see. The angel stood before the altar, the smoke of the incense. The angel took the censer and hurled it at the earth. Thunder, earthquake, and then it begins. So here's another, hail and fire mixed with blood. That could definitely be happening at the same time that they're prophesying against the Antichrist and the false prophet, basically winning in the same way that Moses and Aaron did over Egypt in Exodus. And so you have a lot of other stuff coming here, and then you get to this, which was confusing for me, is the fifth and the sixth trumpet. So the fifth trumpet, the angels come back out of the abyss, which is a whole other story. One of them is the Apollyon, which is Azazel it doesn't matter right now. But this is the king of the fallen angels, and then these are the rest of them in another place. And this was the confusing part, actually. Revelation 11, if these two witnesses are rocking and rolling and knocking this thing out the way Moses and Aaron are, who's the beast that comes out of the abyss to kill them? If they're already defeating the Antichrist, who is this extra beast that's coming out of the abyss? And that is the ninth head. So while they're winning against the Antichrist, one of their plagues, like Moses and Aaron, the angel of death came. Imagine if they killed Moses and Aaron instead of all the firstborn of Egypt. The world would have had a lot of fun with that, because they wound up being justified in the end. And so, let's see. So they're dead for 3.5 days, and then they're raised up. So we know that as a recap, you have the seals that happen up to the fifth seal. Then you have the two witnesses doing their plagues, which is up to the fifth trumpet. And then you get the ninth trumpet, which goes into Revelation 11, that they come out of the abyss. And for this one, nobody can die, because they're coming up with hell, which is a whole other story. And this one, the sixth trumpet, when the four angels are released that are bound, within the great river Euphrates, a third of mankind dies. So that would be the time that they're killed. And then they're raptured, or they're taken up into the sky. That's a little bit ahead of the game. Wait a second. Okay, so about the king from the abyss. Who are these angels from the abyss? They're the story from Enoch in Genesis 6. And we have this being explained basically in Revelation 17. She's sitting on a scarlet beast. It doesn't say, there's a red dragon, but it's calling this one a scarlet beast. There's no color that's indicated in the description of Revelation 13, as far as I know. It could be. So we can just assume that beast is red. And then there's 7 heads to it, but where would be the 8th? And instead of what people commonly think that this is Rome or whatever, the beast that you saw and was not is about to come out of the abyss and go to destruction. And then it says right here, 10. The beast, or 11. The beast which was not and is not, it says 8th, is an 8th and is one of the 7. So, you have a 7-headed beast, and then here, it can be said that this 7-headed beast has an 8th head, which is the story of the fallen angels who were, in other places in the Bible and in Enoch, they were taken to the abyss. So that means they are not, and then they're yet to come. So the 7-headed beast, is, you have the red dragon, which looks the same, and there's a slight difference. But the fact of the matter is, the red dragon is all the empires in the past: Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, and then Greece, Rome, and this future one that comes out in Revelation 13 at the two witnesses best. And then you have the eighth head of that coming and killing them, and then they are raised, and that's when the whole second part of the story happens that I'm going to say later. But what's important is that the Revelation starts out basically the story that you have these seals that are broken, and there's a conqueror, there's war, there's famine, there's death, and then there's persecution. It's basically the onset of a new kingdom, basically the seventh head. And so, not getting into what all that is, you have the seventh head that are persecuting the saints. Then you have the two witnesses up, and then they start going on the run, and they're on the run all the way until till the fifth trumpet and sixth trumpet, which is Revelation 9 up earlier, and they wind up killing them, and then the whole earth gives each other's gifts or whatever, and then it's the seventh trumpet. And the seventh trumpet, the two witnesses are raised, and the kingdom becomes God's, the temple of God, which is opened. You can see something in the sky, and that picks up again at Revelation 15. And there's like a lot to explain as far as the rapture or the gathering at that point, but afterwards it's the bowl of wrath. All you need to know right now is that it starts out like that. Revelation 6, the Antichrist is on the scene. The location is Jerusalem. The two witnesses beat the Antichrist and the false prophet in the same way Moses did with Aaron when they left Egypt. The trumpets are the plagues that they do up to the fifth trumpet. And instead of the angel of death, working for God, it basically seems like they kill the two witnesses. And then they're raised up, and that's the end of the scene.